Ever feel like you're drowning in data? Like there's just too much information out there.
Yeah, definitely. It could be overwhelming for sure.
Well, today we're going deep on something that might just be the life raft we need, AI.
AI as a life raft. I like that.
Specifically, we're talking about AI that can teach other AI.
Whoa, hold on. So instead of us humans constantly feeding information to these machines, they're starting to, what, figure things out on their own.
That's the idea. It's like a virtual classroom, you know? One AI is the teacher and another is the student.
That's wild, like a robot professor.
Kinda, yeah. The research paper we're diving into today is called Dataenvgym, Data Generation Agents in Teacher Environments with Student Feedback. It's a bit of a mouthful.
Dataenvgym. Okay, I got it written down.
Yeah,
So this is what, like a training ground where researchers are building these AI teachers?
exactly. And get this, they're experimenting with different teaching styles to see what works best.
Teaching styles for AI. That's fascinating. What have they tried?
Well, one approach is called open-ended, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The AI teacher gets total freedom to create whatever kind of data it thinks will help the student AI learn.
So no lesson plan, no curriculum, just complete creative control.
Exactly. Like imagine giving your artist a blank canvas. They can paint anything they want.
Okay, I can see how that might get a little chaotic. What about some more structured approaches?
Right, they've explored those too. One is called Skill List, where researchers give the AI teacher a very specific list of skills they want the student AI to learn. It's like a syllabus or a targeted training program.
Okay, so let's say we want an AI that can write like really clean and efficient code.
Mhm.
Researchers would give the AI teacher that goal, and then it would figure out what kind of data it needs to create to teach that to the student.
Exactly. And then there's skill tree, which is even more, I guess, sophisticated. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, sophisticated is good. So what, like a personalized learning path, but for AI?
Exactly. It's like the AI teacher can adjust what it teaches based on how the student is doing, adding new skills, revisiting old ones, just like a good human tutor would.
Wow, that's starting to sound really impressive. But I gotta ask, does it actually work? Can AI really teach other AI effectively?
That's what's so exciting. They've been testing these teaching environments on some really complex tasks.
Oh, like what? Give me an example.
We'll take something called visual question answering, or VQA.
VQA, okay. I haven't heard of that one before.
What is it? It's where an AI has to actually look at an image and then answer questions about it.
So like if you showed it a picture of, I don't know, a busy street, it could tell you how many people are crossing the road or what color the cars are.
Yeah, exactly. But it gets way more complex than that. They're using these AI teachers to help the student AI understand things like the context of the image, not just what objects are in it.
Oh, wow. So instead of just seeing a bunch of shapes and colors, the AI is starting to grasp like the bigger picture.
Mhm. Exactly. And they're not just sticking to visual tasks either. They've also been applying Dataenvgym to mathematics and programming.
Wait, so you're telling me AI is doing homework now? Algebra and coding assignments.
Basically. In the math tests, they've used Dataenvgym to help AI get better at problem solving. You know, things like algebra, calculus, probability. And in programming, the AI teacher is helping the student AI write better, more efficient code.
That's mind-blowing. It almost sounds like we're creating a whole new generation of AI that can not only learn, but figure out how to teach.
It's a huge leap forward, for sure. And what's even more fascinating is what they're learning about how these AI teachers work best.
Yeah, spill the tea. What have they found?
One of the big things is that feedback is crucial. The most effective AI teachers are the ones that can analyze how the student is doing and then adjust their approach based on that.
Okay, that makes sense. A good teacher, knows when to switch things up or go back and review something, but how does an AI figure that out? What's it looking for?
That's what's so intriguing, right? It seems like they're picking up on really subtle cues, just like we do. Like they're noticing when the student AI is struggling with a particular concept or making the same mistakes over and over, and then they adapt their teaching based on that feedback.
Pretty impressive. Any other big takeaways from the research so far?
Well, they've also discovered that the most effective teaching style really depends on the task at hand.
So there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. Sometimes that open-ended style works best, where the AI teacher has more freedom to experiment. But other times, a more structured approach, like skill list, is more effective. It really just highlights how important it is to understand the nuances of how AI learns.
It really does make you wonder, what does this all mean for the future?
Right. I mean, if we can figure out how to make AI teach other AI effectively, What does that tell us about how we learn?
That's a great question, and maybe one we'll dig into a little deeper after a quick. Well, we don't really have breaks here, do we?
No, we just keep on rolling.
All right, then. Let's keep going. It's amazing to think that we're talking about AI that can teach other AI. It's like we're witnessing this whole new level of machine intelligence emerging.
It really is mind-blowing, isn't it? And what's even more fascinating is how much this research mirrors our own experiences with learning.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about different teaching styles, the importance of feedback. What other parallels are you seeing?
Well, think about how we learn new skills as humans. We usually start by breaking down a complex task into smaller, more manageable steps, right?
Yeah, that's true. We got to master the fundamentals before we can tackle the big picture.
And that's exactly what researchers are finding with these AI teachers. One of their key discoveries is this idea of skill discovery, where the AI teacher has to be able to identify the specific skills the student AI needs to learn.
So it's like the AI teacher is figuring out the building blocks of knowledge for that particular task.
Exactly. And then it uses those building blocks to create this tailored learning experience for the student AI.
Man, this is really making me think about the potential of AI in education as a whole.
Oh, me too. It's not just about AI learning from data anymore. It's about AI understanding how to break down complex concepts and figure out the best way to teach them to other AI and even maybe to us.
Yeah. Imagine the possibilities if we could harness that power for human education.
Right. Imagine everyone having access to an AI tutor that could adapt to their individual learning style and pace.
No more one-size-fits-all of textbooks or lectures. It'd be like having a personal coach for your brain.
Exactly.
And, this research is focused on tasks like visual question answering, math, and coding. But the applications could be so much broader, right? Think about training medical AI to diagnose diseases or AI that can help us solve these massive, complex scientific problems.
It's mind-blowing when you start to think about the potential impact on fields like healthcare research, even things like creative writing or art.
Yeah, it really opens up this whole new world of possibilities.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, where does human intelligence fit into all of this?
That's a question I keep coming back to. Are we going to be replaced by these AI teachers?
I don't think it's about replacement, necessarily. I think it's more about collaboration. AI can bring this incredible analytical power and personalization to the table, but there are certain aspects of teaching that are uniquely human, right?
Like empathy, creativity, the ability to inspire. I can't imagine an AI replicating that, at least not yet.
Exactly. And that's why I think the most likely scenario is one where AI and human teachers work together, each playing to their own strengths.
It's an exciting and maybe even a little bit scary future to imagine, but this research is definitely pushing us to think differently about the role of AI in our lives.
It really is. We're moving beyond just using AI as a tool.
Right.
We're starting to explore its potential as a partner in learning and discovery.
So to kind of wrap things up for this part of our deep dive, what do you think is the biggest takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the key takeaway is this. We are entering this brand new era of AI where machines aren't just learning, they are teaching. And that has profound implications for how we think about education, about work, and even about the nature of intelligence itself.
It's definitely given us a lot to think about. Any final thoughts before we move on to the next part?
Well, this research is focused on teaching AI very specific tasks. But what about those things that are harder to define, like creativity or critical thinking? Could an AI ever teach someone how to write a poem or come up with a truly innovative solution to a complex problem? Those are the questions that I'm really grappling with.
It makes you wonder if there are limits to what AI can teach. Or maybe it's us who need to reimagine what's possible when it comes to learning.
It's interesting because we've been focusing on the idea of AI teaching other AI, but it makes you wonder.
What about AI teaching humans?
Exactly. Like, could we learn something from these AI teachers about how to improve our own human education systems?
I hadn't really thought about it that way. It's like AI is holding up this mirror to our own minds, showing us new possibilities for how we can learn and grow.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like, imagine if, by studying how AI teaches, we discovered more effective ways to teach humans, whether it's in traditional classrooms or in these more personalized learning environments.
It's a really exciting thought. But of course, with any powerful technology, we have to consider the ethical implications.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we need to make sure these AI teachers are being developed and used responsibly.
Right. Like, we don't want to create a system where AI is dictating what and how we learn without any kind of human oversight.
Exactly. Transparency is key. We need to be able to understand how these systems are making decisions, especially when it comes to something as important as education.
We can't just blindly trust a black box, right? No matter how impressive the results seem.
No, we need to know what's going on under the hood. And we also need to be mindful of bias, of course.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. If the data used to train these AI teachers is biased or incomplete, it could lead to some really unfair or inaccurate outcomes.
Exactly.
Hmm.
We need to be really intentional about ensuring that these AI teachers are designed to benefit everyone, not just a select few.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of this new technology, but it's crucial to think critically about the potential downsides too.
100%. And it's not a conversation that should be limited to just researchers and technologists. We
Mm.
need educators, policymakers, and even the general public
Yeah.
involved in shaping the future of AI and education.
We all have a stake in this. But going back to the potential benefits for a second, I think one of the most exciting aspects of this research is how it challenges our assumptions about expertise.
Oh, I completely agree. We've always thought of experts as humans who spent years, even decades, accumulating knowledge and experience in a particular field. But these AI teachers are showing us that expertise can also be encoded in algorithms.
Right, it's like this whole new way of thinking about what it means to be an expert.
Exactly. And it raises all sorts of interesting questions like, what happens when AI surpasses human capabilities in certain domains? How do we value knowledge in a world where expertise can be, democratized in this way?
It's definitely food for thought.
This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me. It feels like we're at this incredible inflection point where AI is starting to not just learn from us, but actually teach us in profound ways.
I couldn't agree more. It's a bit daunting, to be honest, but also incredibly exciting to see where this all leads. So before we wrap up, any parting words of wisdom for our listeners who are clearly as fascinated by this topic as we are?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop asking questions. The future of AI and education is being shaped right now, and we all have a role to play in ensuring it's a future that benefits all of humanity.
Well said. And for those who want to dive even deeper into this topic, I highly recommend checking out the full research paper on Dataenvgym. It's a fascinating read, even if you're not a tech expert.
It's a great starting point for anyone who wants to understand the cutting edge of AI in education.
This has been an incredible journey into the world of AI teachers, Dataenvgym, and the future of learning. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, but it's definitely given us a lot to think about.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Until then, keep those minds hungry for knowledge.